Hi, I'm Don, and this is the Hobbyist Geek. Alright, today we are beginning issue 10 on the Ghostbusters Ecto-1 build. We have our parts right here, so let's crack it open and see what we got. And here are the parts that we get with this particular issue. We've got the leaf spring front shackle, the leaf spring rear outer shackle, and rear inner shackle. We have the rear suspension leaf spring itself, leaf spring clamp, the shock absorber lower mount, the upper mount, and the shock absorber spring, along with a massive amount of screws. Alright, the first thing we're going to do here is attach shackles to the leaf spring. Now, if you take a look at the leaf spring, there's really not a whole lot here to differentiate one side from the other. If you look, there's this little lip right here seems a little bit shorter than the similar one on the other side. And so, based on the instructions, I'm going to guess the one with the shorter lip here is where this shackle is going to go. So we're going to take the front shackle, we're going to put it on just like this, and we're going to attach it with an LM screw on either side. Alright, with that in place, I'm going to attach the rear shackles to the other side, and you can see this one's LI, so that's the inner shackle, whereas this one is LO, so that's the outer shackle. And it looks like on the instructions, the outer shackle is going to go just like this, with the inner shackle on the other side, just like this. And we're going to use one PM screw going through the outer shackle to the inner. Alright, there you go with this attached, just like so. They do move independently, so they should be fairly easy to line up. Alright, for the next stage, you're going to need the axle that you've built so far. Make sure that you've got these posts facing up and the housing facing towards the rear. You take the leaf spring, you've got the separated brackets here on that side, so it's lined up just like that. There's a hole here and a little post right there that it'll go through to make sure that it's lined up properly. And with that in place, you can take the leaf spring clamp here, and you can see there are two posts on the bottom, and it's going to go just like this. And then we take one NM screw and we put it right through the middle. Alright, look at that. That is pretty nice. Next up, we're going to start building the shock absorber. So we're going to begin by taking the base here. We're going to take the spring, we're just going to slide that puppy right in. Then we're going to take this housing, and notice that it's got a little hole in one area, okay? That hole has to line up with this slot. So when you push it in, you should be able to see that hole going through there. And you're going to want to put one BM screw into that hole. Alright, there you go. And if you did it properly, the shock should be able to function just like this. Now it's time to pull out the rest of the car. Alright, this next part's going to be really, really difficult. Right here, towards the rear, you're going to see there's a little tab right there, okay? And on the shock, if you take a look at the end, there's actually a little slot right there, okay? That tab has to line up with that slot. And then you go on the other side of the car, and you put a QM screw through it. All right, Looks like I've got it done here. You can see this is on there nice and tight. The shock goes up and down. The way I did it was I put the QM screw into the shock first to make sure that the threads were there, because remember, these metal screws are self-tapping. Once I got the threads in, I pushed the QM screw up through the bottom and then twisted it with the shock absorber just enough to make sure that the screw was threaded in properly. Then I pushed it down and used a screwdriver from the bottom to tighten it all up. Alrighty then. Next part is not going to be fun. The axle is going to have to come onto the car just like so. And you can see there's a little hole right there. And that is where this peg is going to go in. And then we're going to attach it with one RM screw coming up from the other side. But before we get there, looks like these shock absorbers were put on facing the wrong direction. I had them sweeping that way. They're supposed to sweep this way. Thank you, Eagle Moss, for the wonderful instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and have to take those off and reverse them. Alright, there they are reversed. Hopefully you're watching this video before you've gotten to this stage, because that is not easy. But at least it's doable. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to place this in here. And the peg on this is actually going to go into that hole. So that'll go right through there just like that. And then this will line up over here. And one RM screw up through the bottom. Okay, there we go. This is attached now, fairly tightly, it seems. It needs some support on the other side, of course, but looking pretty good so far. All right, next up, we're going to be taking the propeller shaft from the previous issues, and this is going to have to slide up and in through here. Let's see if we can get that in. There it is. And this end, well, here, actually, let's do the other end first. Over here, this end is going to go into the engine right in there, just like that. And then down here, it's going to go into the rear axle. Wow, that's a tight fit. Seems like this should have been done before we screwed everything in. Here, let's do it this way. There we go. All right. Now we've got the propeller shaft in place. Nice. All right, next up, we're going to attach the leaf spring here to the shock absorber right there. We're going to use one CM screw to get it done. All right, with that done, we're going to come down, and on here, it's really hard to see. I'm trying to angle the camera properly, but there is a hole right there. We're going to have to line this up with, just like that. And, whoa, the camera just came off. But we're going to use a PM screw to go through here all the way through. All right, if you've done it properly, it should look like this. And your leaf spring is fully attached. One last step to go. All right, for this one, we're going to take the exhaust pipe here and there's a little tab. You'll be able to feel it because when you push it in, it'll lock in place. And you're going to need one eyepiece screw to come up through the bottom to tighten it in. All right, with that in place, you're going to take this piece right here. Okay, and you've got the little fork facing towards the rear. This is just going to slide onto the exhaust just like this until you get it in place. We're going to use one BM screw in the middle of that fork to keep it there. All right, and there it is in place. And that is the end of this particular issue. Wow, what an issue that was. A lot going on here, a lot going on from the propeller shaft to attaching the rear axle, the leaf spring, finishing up the left exhaust pipe. Just so much going on. I obviously haven't edited this video yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to find out that my camera work really stinks. But I hope this was helpful to anyone building the model. If you like the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we're going to see you next time. Have a great day.